We're going to start by talking about the game between Manchester City and FC Copenhagen, played in Denmark tonight. Peter Schmeichel was there pitch side for us. Peter Schmeichel, Copenhagen came into this game with such a formidable European home record. Just wasn't enough against a team of the quality of Manchester City, though.
No, I mean, and you know, since they did really, really well in the group phase, they haven't played for 8 weeks, and as I said, you know, pre-match, you're gonna see what's gonna happen from 80 minutes and forward. And at some point, you know, it's really, really difficult if you haven't played games to distribute that energy that you have available to you. And as you could see, right towards the end of the game, it was just chance after chance. But Man City, I mean, my God, how good are they? They're just, it's like when they want to score a goal, they'll do it. And you know, Haaland, I mean, he had a couple of opportunities. He was nowhere near scoring a goal today, and still they scored 3. This is an incredible team to watch, I have to say that.
Peter, who was you most impressed with from Copenhagen today?
The goalkeeper. I thought the goalkeeper played really, really well. I mean, he's a big part of them even being here. He had a fantastic season. He actually signed in the summer. Last summer, he signed for Wolfsburg, but stayed on to play the Champions League, and he will leave for Wolfsburg in the summer. I thought he played really, really well today. I'm a little bit, you know, there's a few players I wanted to see on the pitch today. He didn't put them on, but, you know, it's really early days. They're struggling in the league. They start the league against a difficult team on Sunday. So Næstrup, the coach, he's had to kind of play the cards he's got available to him in the best possible manner. And I think deep down, yes, he wanted a really good and strong performance from his team today. But I think deep down, even he didn't believe that they could beat Man City.
Peter, Manchester United, obviously you won the Champions League, and a few years later they won the Champions League again, but they didn't retain it. And notoriously, it's really difficult to win the Champions League back to back. I mean, do you think there's anybody capable of stopping Manchester City this season?
It's really difficult to see that. If you look at their last couple of performances, it's not like they're not blowing teams away. On Saturday they play Everton, and they're resting 4 of their best players, and only when they need to put them on, they put them on, and they're not spending any energy. You know, they're fresh for this game today, and it's just such a luxury to have, you know, that amount of players who can play at this level. No other teams has got that. You know, everybody else are struggling with injuries here and there. And yes, of course, Arsenal made a statement on was it Saturday as well, this 6-0 win. You know, that's got to be an interesting thing to see when they play in 3 weeks' time, if they can match up to Man City. But at the moment, I don't see another team in the world better than that.
Absolutely. Peter, you're in the tunnel, which means that we'll be hoping to get some kind of player interviews as the players come through where you are. Is there anyone particular you're hoping to nab?
Of course, Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is he's always got good things to say. I mean, what a player he is. I mean, he got player of the match today as well. He's come back, 7 games he's taking part in now. He scored 7 goals, 2 assists. I mean, he is just top class. I will try and see if I can get Bernardo Silva into you guys in the studio. If I'm successful, please prepare some good questions for him.
We always got good questions, Peter. Thank you. Nice to see you. We'll see you again in just a minute. So obviously, I mean, Peter's kind of reinforced that. We were talking about Manchester City as the favourites, certainly the odds-on favourites in terms of betting odds, Thierry, to go ahead and win this competition and to repeat it. Like Jamie said, did that performance reinforce that status for you?
Not tonight for me, because you played against a team that didn't play for 8 weeks. It's more what they're doing all the time. That will validate that. Not so much the performance tonight, because you play against a team that was at your mercy. But exactly like Peter said, you know, De Bruyne is coming back fresh. Alan is coming back. Phil Foden, I have to say that for me, when those guys were not around, he put that team on his shoulder. You have to give him his credit. So yes, they have a good coach, they have depth, they have quality, they can keep the ball. They have Rodri, good goalkeeper, although we all know that he made a mistake tonight, but it can happen. I just think that overall is the team to beat. Not so much about the performance tonight, and you have to give Copenhagen a lot of credit, because playing against City is already difficult. Back 4, which I thought a back 5 would have been more suited, because you were also tired, meaning the 8 weeks without playing at one point is going to be a bit too much to slide across. But yeah, City are just unplayable at times.
Can I just ask you from a coaching point of view,
Yeah.
obviously you're a manager, what makes this team so special?
The fact that they can, Pep always says, and I had him as a coach, you defend with the ball. If you don't lose it, you don't have to run. But what is actually annoying and depressing when you play against them, and I played against Barcelona also in my time, and Pep wasn't there at the time, but you can't come out. You know how annoying that is. Like you want to pass that ball through the lines, and then one touch, they take it, and they again retain possession, and they make you run. And then you go again, and then you see like there is nobody forward. You try to turn, they get the ball back. It's tiring to defend for 90 plus minutes. And Pep always finds something, they always find a way, they find a run. But when you don't have the feeling that you can step out from something, it's very difficult to play.
So, Kevin, first of all, it's fantastic to see you back on the football pitch. It's 7 games now, 2 full 90 minutes. How do you feel?
A little bit tired now, can't lie. No, I feel good. You know, I'm getting where I need to be. I know I still need a little bit. You know, the games after games, I'm not used to it yet, playing every 3 days. But you know, after being out that long, I feel really good.
And you know your stats, I'm pretty sure that. That's 7 games, 7 goals, 2 assists. So you're not quite there yet. Is that a message to everybody else now in the Champions League and of course in the Premier League as well, that there's more to come from you?
Well, I don't think I send it as a message, you know. You asked me the question and I try to respond as honest as I can, you know. Obviously, it's been great for me to start the way that it has been, and I would not have expected this after being out that long, but I try to be in a good shape when I come back, and I think we are managing the whole situation after it in a good way as a whole team. So I'm happy, and I hope they are too.
And what about the game today? Was that more difficult than you expected it to be, or did you expect it to be a little bit like?
No, I think we expected that type of game, but I think we actually played really well. Obviously, we made a mistake for the goal, and that can happen. But I think maybe a 10-minute spell after the goal was a little bit less, but I think even in the second half we had chances to score more. Obviously we are lucky to score in the last minute, but I think we deserved it. But also props to Copenhagen to do this type of game, and they deserve to be here, so that's it.
And also it looks at times it looks like you very, very deliberately just you know, takes the temper out of the game for longer spells and just keep the ball. Is that a deliberate thing, knowing that the period that you're going into now, with all the games coming up, you have to win them, that's something that you use as a tool?
Well, I think is a way of controlling the games. Obviously, I think that's our strong point. You know, when we have the game under control, we are good offensively, but also defensively. We don't give too much away. You know. I don't think the best game we can do is in transitions. That's not our strong point, and we know that. So this is the way we have to play as a team, and I think we did that pretty well today.
And 3-1, is that enough?
Well, it's a good start, obviously, but we have the advantage. But we know you have to play always a good game in the Champions League and be ready for the second game.
Yeah, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Fantastic player. You obviously worked with him during your time with the Belgian national team. What kind of remains with you from the time you spent with him?
His brain, the way he sees the game. I think we mentioned it one time here, that at times he's so demanding with himself that can bring him places or overthinking about what happens. And if someone doesn't make the right pass, that can upset him for a little while and a big part of the game. I mean, again, I will mention his brain, because Kevin De Bruyne, we all know that right now, physically, he's maybe not at his best, but his brain is pretty quick. You don't need to run when you have a brain.
You're talking about the Premier League. I just want to ask you a question. We're looking at you go back to sort of serial winners, and we're actually feeling that Manchester City could become serial winners of this trophy for the next 3 or 4 years. And you've had the great Barcelona teams of Xavi, Iniesta. We've seen sort of Real Madrid, but now we're seeing Modric on the bench. Toni Kroos is still playing. Even though he's over 30 now, do you think the next couple of years could see almost Kevin De Bruyne seen as one of the greatest players in the Champions League of this era right now? Hopefully. Midfield-wise.
I mean, I think he's up there already. Like going now to the top of the top of the top. it's going to be a different situation. But to go back to how clever he can be, yes, if he adds back-to-back and a third title in a row, which was, we all know, difficult. Madrid did it. But I can see him finishing his career lower as a holding midfielder. He's that clever.
Yeah.